So last time we made the ability to get an effect on the at the start of each level, and we just made one effect, the shield. Okay, so you either get a skill or upgrade it at the beginning of the level, but I'd like to have an effect when the game starts. Uh, Let me see if I can find it. Something like that. I don't know which one do you like, which color? Because I don't know. Okay. I guess we'll go with it. Okay. So at the beginning of the game, I want to have this effect below the ship, and then, um, but before that, actually, let me make a whole layer for the background. Okay, the sprite renderer here. So let's add one. Okay. Let's set all of these to that. Uh, but we have to switch those so that the background is below the default. Set it to background. Same for the background prefab now. So this one also should be in the background there. Okay, this we'll call this third level effect. Let's unpack it so it's no longer a prefab. Now we have to go to each particle system here and change the render layer. But let's see what that is first. It is 0 for, oh, actually no, it is not 0. Okay, so this is 2, 3, 1, and 0. So what I will do here is I'll say minus here, -5 to each one. -5, -5, minus. Okay. So now the ship is above that. Um, but what if I put it somewhere between those layers? Let's see if we can do that. Let's see, where's the sprite render? What if I say like -2 or something like that? -2. Okay, that's not enough. More, is more. Minus, let's say -3. Nope. -4. Yeah, -4. Yes. Okay. Um. So by default it should be -4. But now we have to code this effect in the game manager. But before that, let's change the size of this effect. Also, the position of the ship. We should have a starting position. So let's do that. Let's create an empty child of the game manager. Call this start position. Now we go in the scene, put it somewhere at the bottom of the camera view. Now that effect, you need to change the size of all of this. Let's try 0.5. Something like that maybe. Okay, so apparently I just have to do that for the pad, not for all of these. Okay. That's one thing that we want to do, but we also want to have a loading screen between levels. So for that, let's go to the canvas and make that. But if you do that, we need an image of a square for the background. I have that here somewhere on my desktop somewhere. Yes. Let's take the square and the circle. Add this to our sprite folder. Okay, now in the canvas we make a panel that covers the whole screen. Change the sprite to the square because this is rounded on the edge. This default sprite, we don't want that. We want this to cover the edges as well. Change it to black, fully visible. Maybe not this black, maybe a little bit gray like that. Yeah. Something like that. We call this loading panel. Okay, now for now we'll just add a text that will say loading and the level for now, but we'll add some effects later. Let's see. Let's this be the level text. Okay. Font. So this will be level number text. Then below that we'll just say loading. Oh. Okay, change that. Maybe not loading, just that. The number of the level. Now we have to go here and put these anchors in the corners. That way it stretches with, stays in the middle and stretches inside. Okay, now in the game manager, we have to go to the game manager, create a variable for that loading panel. But since we want to add some other stuff later, we'll add a canvas group component, so that way we can change the transparency of all the UIs that are attached to that object, are children of that object. And that's one thing. Then we need to make a function for the effect at the start of the game, and also let's go to let's see the specific behavior of the player. Somewhere here. Yes, in here, that's the specific behavior. So in here, let's make a public bool which say as controls. Okay. And by default, this should be false because we want to do the animation at the beginning. So we say it's false by default. And now in the specific behavior that, so the green ship in this case, because I said we want to have multiple ships, in here, when we do the update and the fixed update, we want to do that only if we have control. So if player script, let's controls, only then we do this. Or actually, there is another way to do this. We can say if it doesn't have controls, we return. Okay. And just the same here in fixed update. Okay. Let's add the canvas group to the loading panel. Oh, also I have a sprites for asteroids. Okay. So the panel here, make a canvas group. Okay. Now let's go to game manager, and we can do the fading of the background and the starting effect in one coroutine. So let's go here and say enumerator, that means coroutine. Let's call it one start coroutine. So first we want to fade the loading panel. For that we need the canvas group, and not only that, yes, actually only that. So let's say public canvas group loading canvas group CG canvas group. Now I go to text here on my desktop, so I can just copy the code for that. This is very useful code. You can fade anything with this. So we want to fade that over time, the transparency of the panel. So I will explain this because it's important. This is for where you count time, not you see we have a float, not an integer, that goes from 0 to 1. That's 1 second. And every frame, yield return means we wait 1 frame. Every frame we write the time difference between frames. So in other words, the time in seconds. So if you just have this, that this will last 1 second, but we want this to last a specific amount of time. So then we divide that time difference between frames with how long we want this to last. So let's say here float fade, or actually not here, inside here, float fade duration, say 1.5. We have to play with that and see. Now we divide by that fade duration. Now here we say loading CG alpha, so that's transparency, equal matf dot. The starting value is 1, so completely visible. Then value is 0, completely transparent, and then that's the. So again, MATLAB, what this does, it selects a value between a starting point and an ending point, depending on that t at the end. So that's a value between 0 and 1. So if that is 0, that means we select the starting point. If it's 1, is the end point, and if it's somewhere in between, then it's somewhere in between those 2 points. So if this is 0.5, then it is exactly in the middle between those two values. But because this t does not reach exactly 1, at the end we have to say that the alpha is 0. So make it the exact value. That's one thing. Then we disable that panel, because even though it's transparent, it blocks raycast. In other words, it blocks clicks. We don't want that. So we say here loading CG game object set active false. Okay. And then we want to do the effect for the player. Do we have the player scripting here? That's the question. No, we do not have that. So we need to get that, but not only that, well, we need more than that. Let's see, what's this? We also need the sprite renderer, because we at the moment the ship is somewhere in between the layers of that effect, and at the end we want to place it on top of those. So for that we have to go to the player and say make a variable for the sprite renderer. And this is to be public, so public, because we want to access it from the game manager. So let's make that, and at the start we just say sprite rendering equal get component right renderer. It does not work for some reason. I wrote that incorrectly, that's why. Okay, that's one thing. Then in the game manager we have to go here at the start and we have to get the script, the player script. So make a variable public player script, and after we get the transform here at the start, we also get the script from that from that transform. So player script will be player transform get component. Okay, so now also we want a starting position and a starting scale and an ending scale, because we want to increase the size of the ship and then make it visible and then delete that that effect. So in our player here, also let's say public float start scale and public float default scale, and we'll have to play with that. But let's set the scale of that ship at the beginning before we do the fade of the loading screen. We need to disable this 1 second and look at that and select the size scale for that. So let's see. Yeah, let's go from 1 to 3. So now we go here in our player script. Let's say 1 start and 3 default. Now we can go here on the coroutine at the start of the game and say that player script or not player script, we can say transform in case it's not local scale. Yes, local scale equal vector 3, and then actually let's say load start scale equal player script start scale load scale. And now we set it to the start scale first on all dimensions, but in 2D it doesn't matter what this is, the last one, the Z doesn't matter. So now after this fade, the fade of the background, we want to increase the size of the ship over time. So we copy this for. Now I have to make a float for how long this should last. So let's say float. Let's say animation. Okay, 2 seconds. Divide here. The for. Now we take the scale here, and actually let's say 1.0. care about the z. So the scale will be equal to a new vector 3. Vector 3. Inside here we say math f not default scale. Oh wait, no, not sorry, start scale, and then default scale, and then that the same for the y of the local scale, same for the y, and for the z we keep it 1 because we don't, that doesn't matter. But at the end, let's make sure that that scale is exactly the correct value. So we say vector 3 default scale, and then 1 for the z. Okay, then we want to give the player controls in here. But let's also because we keep our ship between levels. Okay, we keep it between scenes. After level 1, if you enable the controls, and then we go to level 2, at the start the ship will have the controls enabled, and we don't want that. So let's say at the beginning, player script, there's controls false, so no controls. And now at the end we make it true. Also, we have to disable do two things. We have to place we have to change the layer in the sprite renderer to place it above the effect, and then we have to destroy that effect. So let's say here player script, and let's comment this code a little bit. Disable, yeah, close. Set scale to then we fade the panel, and then we and then enable controls, and then here sprite renderer, and we need that layer. I don't know the code for that. I don't know if this is the one. We'll test. Let's see. For now, let's not disable the effect so we can see if the ship changes. If this line here is correct, if we change the layer correctly. So the start after actually we should do this at the end, this select new effect. Yes, so we'll take that from here, put it here at the end. That way we do the we fade the loading screen, then we do the animation, and then we select a skip. So here at the start we say start coroutine, and then that coroutine that we created. Okay, now we test, it's time to test. And also we want that effect to be at that starting position. Okay, so we need a couple of things actually in the game manager. So one is this will be spawn position. So the spawn position, and then we need a variable for the effect. So let's say, oh, actually this could be private. Game object if okay, so that's effect, and let's say the realize field, so we can see it in the inspector. Now we'll keep it like this for now. Make sure that the player and the effect are at the starting position here at the beginning of the coroutine. So place a player and effect on spawn position. So player transform position equal spawn position. The effects on start effect transform position equals spawn position. Now we have to do two things. One is place this vector 3 in our start position. We'll copy this, go to the game manager here, start, and paste it on the spawn position. And then drag our effect here in the script, and it's time to test now. But first, let's enable this canvas. Also, we need to add this to the game manager. Okay, let's see if it works. Okay. Okay, let's try that one more time because we have an issue with the text here. It seems that you see that level 1. Okay, that works, but we need to do a couple of changes. Okay, so first one is that effect here. Let's change the size of that a little bit smaller. Let's say 0.35. Okay, and also at the end here, we want to disable that. So let's say start effect, set active false, or we can even destroy it. Actually, we can even destroy it. Let's say destroy. That's one issue. The other one is the text, the text with the level that does not fade correctly. The black panel below fades, but that one does not fade correctly. Okay, yep, seems to work correctly. But you know what would be nice here? It would be nice to be able to fade this. That I'm not sure how we fade this. How do we fade this? That's the question. Okay, let's try to fade this. I've never done this before, but let's try. Okay. So we have the object here. Before we destroy it, we want, let's say, fade. So now we need the particle systems from all of those, because we have a particle system on each object here. Okay, so we need a list of that. Let's make a list. Let's say list of type, I think it's particle system. Yes, the particle systems. Excuse me a second. Sorry about that. One second, please. So we make a list of that type. Give us an error because we have to import this here. Okay. So now that we have an empty list, we need to add all those particle systems. So first one is the parent. So we say particle systems add, and we add the particle system from the parent. So start effect, get component particle system. So that's the first one. Okay. It does not work for some reason. Oh yes, here we have to, we created the variable, but we need to create an empty list inside that variable. So we have to say list that type. Okay. So first we add the parent, and then for from 0 to how many children that effect has. So that effect transform child count. Then we add all of those particle systems. So we say this here, but we say that effect transform get child, and then get components. So only the children now. So that's the parent, and these are the children. Now we have to fade all of those. And for that we need to know two things. We need to know the starting transparency. We need to know the transparency of each one of these. So let's make another list with the transparencies. We'll make a list. This time it's a float. Let's say particles transparency. Well, let's say alpha. Let's say just alpha because alpha means transparency. Okay, float. And now we go through that list that we made. So for each, or let's choose a simple loop from 0 to the length of that list. Okay. We add the alpha in order. So particle alpha. Let's see if it works because I've never tried this. Add. Then we select at position I, and then color. Okay, I don't know if that. Let's see. Let's ask ChatGPT actually. Let's ask ChatGPT. How do I change color? So it seems that the start color is seems that it is the start color. So let's try that. So here we say start color, and then we say, but why does it say here is deprecated? Why? Use main. What? Main. Start color. Okay, I guess. Let's see. Do we have red? Oh, we have color. Okay, that's very interesting. Let's see how they do it here. Okay, let's see. Because I say that here and it does not work. So it's color and then color. Very interesting. Okay. So we want to say the A, which is alpha, which is the transparency. So okay, let's comment this code a little bit. It list of systems. Now we create a list of the alpha, the system. And now we fade over time. So we'll use the same for loop, but inside of this, we say we'll have to make a for loop actually. So let's say for each particle system, let's say particle in that list. For each one, we say particle that from what I can see, main dot color equal no, it doesn't work like this. We have to use a normal for loop here. It doesn't work because we have to take two lists in consideration. So let's say for integer 0 to the length of that particle systems, dot count plus. Okay, and inside we say particle systems I dot the color that color equal. Now we create a new color, and we maintain the colors on red, green, and blue. We maintain those colors. So what we'll do is we'll say R, G, and then B. And for the alpha, we say math F learn. So we want to learn from the transparency of that. So we say particle alphas I to 0 over time. So D. I think that's it. I think that is it, but we get an error here. Start color is not a variable. I don't know why this doesn't work. Okay. Cannot modify the return value. Okay, so how do I do it then? Maybe I made a mistake somewhere. What if I just delete that? Excuse me 1 second. me 1 second, I'll be right back. Yeah, I'm back. Sorry about that. Please let me know, Wim, how much time do we have? Okay. For some reason, it doesn't let me change the color here. I don't know what the reason is. Uh, so I need to store that module in a local variable, and it will. I'm not sure what this means actually. Okay, so if I say equal to this, okay, and then what? Then like that. What? We have to test it. I have no idea if it's working. Okay, 30 minutes, that's okay. So let's see. Let's make sure everything is correct here. So we maintain the red, green, and blue. And for the alpha, go from that transparency that we saved, so the initial transparency to 0 over time. And we must give it a duration now. Maybe 1-2 seconds, 1.5. Let's say float duration. Okay, okay, and it's time to test now. And I guess we can stop after this. Let's re-enable the canvas. But I don't understand why the text is still visible. You see, if I at the start the background fades, but the text does not fade correctly. I'm not sure why that is. Oh. Yep, that does not work actually. Okay, it does not work. Okay, that's yeah. Let's see what ChatGPT tells us. So it seems that well, yes. So one thing is, let's not say particle alphas here. Let's say colors. And then now this is not a list of floats here, it's a list of color. Let's do this the way they do this, which is this. Okay, so var main particle systems are. We save that. I don't know what that is, but we have to do it like this. Then we add the colors to the colors. That's how it is, and then let's see. Okay. So let's see the color here. Okay. Is equal to the colors I, and then we say the color alpha is equal math f lerp wait, learn from what value do we learn this? Yes, we need to know that alpha. We need to know the starting value that alpha. Oh yes, of course, of course. So we say the color alpha is now equal math f lerp, and then we use the colors here, so particle colors I dot alpha to 0 over time, and then we just add that color here, so we can delete this. Okay, so again we save the colors, the initial colors, and then we take that color but change the alpha, and then add it to the particle system. Now it's time to test. I don't really understand why you have to save this here, this main. I don't know what it is, but ChatGPT says this is the way, this should be the way. Okay. Okay. It still does not work. It does not work. Okay, so the ratio is 1.5. Okay, let's look at the script 1 second. Maybe we made a mistake somewhere. So, um, first we create a list of the particle system. We are the parent, and then the children. Seems to be okay. Then make a list of the colors. We save the initial colors in here. Okay, then we do that fade. So for each particle system, we save that main, which I don't know what that is. Then we take the initial color, change the alpha accordingly. Um, but what is this? Wait, okay. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what happens here. Okay, let me send that to ChatGPT and let's see if okay this. Yeah, I have no idea why this does not work. Maybe let's look at the particles here. See if something changes in here. Oh, it does work. It does work. It does work. But visually you cannot see it for some reason. You cannot see it for some reason. Let's check each. Yeah, I don't know why that why that disappears like that, because in here I can see that changing, but okay, let's see. Let's see. Let's increase that to like 3 or 4. Um, that one more time. That's interesting. I'm not sure what the issue is. From what I can see, let's make sure. Actually, let's make sure these are all just one color, not gradient between two, not gradient or random between two. So those are just one color. I'm not sure because you can see it here, but you cannot see it in the game. Okay. Okay, let's look at that one more time. Interesting. Very interesting. Okay, we'll have to stop for today. I'll look into that. Maybe comment with a solution tomorrow. Thank you very much.